Hello and welcome to the Zach Ratliff Show. I'm Zach. This is Hunter. This is Steve.
It's true.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is true. Let me start by thanking my sponsors, then we'll get into it. I'd like to thank Mortgage Financial here in Texarkana. I'd like to thank Elmwood Custom Goods, and I'd like to I'd like to thank Church on the Rock. That's churchontherock.org.
Church of the Rock. We'll love the hell out of you.
And so there you go. All right, fellas, we're you guys did the election night coverage with me on the radio last year.
And it went really well
So
because
the
Trump
horse.
won.
Yeah, yeah, and that we all just got along. So I'm like, we can make this work.
Did you know I was coming today?
If I'd have known.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Zach, come in your show tomorrow? Sure. Hunter's going to be there. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's right. So there's a couple of
It just makes me look stupid is my gripe.
oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a couple local things I want to cover, and then we'll get into some news articles and then just see where we stand on all of this, and we'll go from there. First of all, there's going to be a TPUSA Faith Hub Texarkana prayer rally at 2 p.m. on Sunday, which is the 28th,
Okay.
downtown at the downtown Texarkana post office. So once again, I understand we're talking to over 30 states, 9 countries. So if you're not in Texarkana, you don't have to be there, or you can fly in. We've got a nice new airport.
Do we really?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's great.
Can we do jets now?
We've been having jets. Yeah,
Is it still the two flights? Is it the two flights a day?
I don't know what.
They
I think
gave
it
us
is.
the Houston route. I think now it's two
We'll
flights.
have to get the airport. I've got the director of the airport on the phone. I'll have him on and come talk about the airport.
Y'all are too young to remember, but there was a time 30 plus years ago when the flights that took off from, and I won't say the name of the airport, but it's local to Texarkana. And if they were flying to Dallas, if you were driving to Dallas, you could see them. They were flying about 3,000 feet up. They followed the interstate
Oh,
to
that's funny.
Dallas.
That's what
Yeah.
I would do.
Yeah.
Well, when I started
Compass? What?
when I started taking being flown before I was old enough to drive, and I'd meet my mom and stepdad wherever, they'd fly me out of Texarkana, and it was the Saab 340B. And it was the prop plane, and it was loud and it was bumpy. And I even remember one time, I don't know, I was 13 or 14, and I was gonna fly to I might have been 15, but I was going to fly to Dallas and then meet them in Florida. So I was connecting. I'd flown a lot, so it didn't bother me to fly by myself. Understood the airport pretty well, and it was before Live 360, so I was allowed to live a little, and anyway,
Where's
the
that?
the
Last
weather,
series in
yeah,
Florida.
the weather gets so bad for that Saab 340B that we have to emergency land in Tyler. Like it was the worst flight I've ever
It's
been
not
on.
even on the way.
And no, like it knocked us out of the sky. The guy beside me is throwing up
What are
in
you,
one of
100 miles south?
yeah.
Let's just land here.
The guy beside me is throwing up in a bag. The woman in front of me is crying, and here I'm not even 16 years old, thinking, "All right, God, let's get this bad boy on the ground." And so I didn't have a cell phone, right? So I know it wasn't 16 because I didn't have a cell phone. So have to get money to use the payphone from the Tyler airport. Call my dad. I'm like, "Hey." He goes, "Well, it's bad here too. What do you want me to do? Drive in it?"
We crashed on the field run.
Yeah, he's like, he goes, he goes, "Just wait, and they'll take off when it's safe." I'm like, okay, and so that's what I did. Anyway, I don't. We'll get the airport director on. He listens to the show.
Does he really?
Yeah, he does.
No, I'm sorry for what I said.
No, he's a good guy.
Some people still-
Anyway, we've got a prayer rally downtown Texarkana Sunday, 2 p.m. Turning Point USA Faith Hub of Texarkana. We had Jacob on earlier this week. If you want to go watch that episode, it was good. Then next Thursday, October the 2nd, what
I
at
feel like
5?
you're talking to me a lot more than you're talking to Hunter.
Well, I've just kind of looked this way because I'm blind in my left eye, so I can still pick him up, but I have to look this way.
That's why I said over.
Yeah.
I sit here every time. What does that say about me?
And so anyway, next Thursday, October the 2nd, 5:30, Church on the Rock, Texarkana, we're having a what would you call it?
Shindig?
Forum.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
forum.
shindig. You could go shindig. A forum to talk about the 17 amendments that are on the Texas state constitution.
Right.
And so
And you have to really pay attention to those things. I mean, it's a running joke. Well, it is because we say it all the time. but it's like there's an amendment that says free soft drinks and puppies, and you vote for it, and you go, okay, cool. When do I get my puppy?
And
Oh,
they kill the puppy and hand it to you and pour your drink on your head. I mean,
yeah,
Or they'll commonly write them to where if you vote yes, it really means no, or if you vote no, it really means
right.
yes. That's
And
pretty cool.
it's a. I mean, some of these things have to be constitutional. Number 12 is restructuring the Texas Texas Commission for Judicial Conduct to make it have more civilians on it than attorneys. That's a really good one, and that came because the Constitution set up TCJC,
Mhm.
and to restructure it, you've got to amend the Constitution.
Yeah.
But and that's how we hope that they all are. But I think most of them are. Are you ever cynical about our government, Hunter?
One week to the next.
That and so the joke about okay, cool. When do we get our free puppies? Oh, you don't get free puppies. Also, we outlawed ice cream. That was in there.
well, what,
So it's the government will put these amendments out there, and that's why we have to have these forums. That's why we have to do this
Right.
because the amendment sounds like one thing, but it really means something else.
well, let's kind of go through them. So what I did, Hunter, was I asked Grok. I said, "Hey, I said, look at this as a conservative Republican."
Did you say please?
No,
You better say thank you.
I do say
When it
please and
becomes
thank you.
self-aware, it won't forget.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
Skynet,
exactly what I think
Skynet.
too.
What if
That's
what if
right.
what if this Skynet's a little nicer and will spare you because you were polite?
I subscribe to ChatGPT. When I get, if I'm using it for logistics and things like that, when I get
Please.
done, I say, I really appreciate you. And it's like, you're
Oh,
welcome.
oh,
Yeah, I think I say
Because
please and thanks
it's
a
going to
lot.
hold its trigger finger when it gets to me.
That's what it should be
right.
like. This guy can work in the coal mine,
We'll kill him last,
That's right.
just like a communist would do.
right?
You know, they use you, use you till they don't need you anymore. Okay, so this is what ChatGPT says. As a simulated conservative Republican, drawing from principles like limited government, fiscal responsibility, strong law and order, and support for free markets, property rights, and traditional values, and border security, I'll analyze each of the 17. So, number one is Proposition 1, creation of funds for Texas State Technical College System's capital needs. This says yes. It supports the practical workforce education and job training, which is a smart investment in self reliance and economic growth. I'm good with that.
Oh, you know I am.
Yeah,
Keeps me in a job.
yeah. So, but I think we need these programs.
Oh yeah.
Um,
That's been one of the things for years. You know, it's always, you know, the browbeating of the college route.
right.
And, you know, finally, after Mike Rowe's been spitting out at everybody for 20 years, people are like, well, maybe we can do something else besides everyone having a liberal arts major. you
Yeah,
know? Yeah.
there are other jobs that you can do, especially on the technical side. Well, and that's what I think. Not everybody needs an underwater basket weaving degree.
Yeah.
But there are industries, welding, however you want to go into it, wherever you want to go, that you can go through a technical college. And even if you're, my family's in the hair business. I mean, you have to get that. So, all right. So number 2, Proposition
What
2.
would happen if we didn't have licenses?
You would just use who you felt could do it the best.
So if that
trial and error.
well, so it would depend greatly on word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
And there would probably be some rating agencies out there. I've never learned how to turn this thing down. There would be rating agencies, like the Texarkana, I don't know, Texarkana Business Rating Association.
Angie's List.
Yeah,
but
Angie's
something,
List. Yeah.
something closer and warmer.
Yeah.
So but it would rely on things like that.
Well,
and
but
maybe
then
there
that
would
brings
be
up something like the
maybe
Better
like
Business
a-
Bureau, which is horrible.
It is.
And half the businesses aren't even on it.
Yeah, because
Right,
it's a
right.
it's a scam.
Yeah, yeah. I was opening a business years ago, and I came back, and one of my employees goes, "Man, the Better Business Bureau was here. They're watching us." And I'm like,
They were here.
Yeah, they were real.
so if you're a member and somebody complains, they will help you resolve it, and they will list that. If you're not a member, they go, "He's not a member." And the guy kept coming by my office. I'm like, "Dude, you've been by here like a dozen times. You see how I treat my customers? It sounds to me like I'm better off without your listing." He's like, "Well, yeah."
It's the worst mafia job ever, right? They offer no protection.
Yeah, they have no hammer either, so there's not even mafia. It's just
Problem.
yeah.
They need a hammer.
But anyway, so we would if you required Maybe the city could require every business to have a bond of some sort. So you don't technically have to have licensing. And if you didn't have licensing, what would spring up otherwise? And so licensing for plastic surgeons is probably a good idea.
I would think
Licensing
so. Yeah.
for and I know this will make your family. Well, I don't know, y'all, your dad, the hair industry. From y'all family's perspective, y'all do a great job at it, and you got a really good name in it. So
It wouldn't affect us if there wasn't a license.
right. So and that's the thing. You go through the training to get your license, and I've been told this by people who teach. You go through the training, get your license, and then you need to go someplace and really learn. Which is
Yeah.
again what your dad does.
Yeah.
Your family. It's the makes it sound like more like the mafia when you talk about it. Your family.
We're
The
connected.
hair
You are,
cartel.
yeah, the hair cartel.
100% around
That's
here.
right.
Yeah, yeah. And you don't cut, you don't color, you don't perm without their say so.
By appointment on.
Yeah. They'll tell you when you can do somebody's hair.
After you pay tribute.
That's conversation helped a lot.
Yeah,
Let's
perfect.
do another one.
All right. Proposition 2, prohibiting taxes on capital gains. This says, yes, absolutely. Capital gains taxes punish success and investment. But even beyond that, and Steve, this was a point you talked about last night, but Hunter, let's say you bought your house for $50,000.
Would have been nice.
Yeah, it would have been. Right? And then now it's up to $250,000. The unrealized gain on that's $200,000, and then you would be responsible
Yep.
for taxation on it,
Yeah,
which
well,
is, I mean, and let's don't act like that's not a real proposal in the world right now. Like there are people coming after unrealized gains.
unrealized gains in terms of stocks too. That's the wildest.
Yeah.
If I hold a stock and I'm sitting on it, and I've got unrealized gains, and I'm not cashing it out, I'm not doing anything with it, and
Right.
you
Yeah.
adjust me from a year to year basis based on
So
that.
Just crazy deal.
I've actually been in the room conversation with the appraisal board when someone said this little strip of street in Texarkana is wildly overvalued. You're saying this property is worth $80,000. It's sold for 35,000. I go, well, if somebody had to sell it and it was an emergency, well, that's why the difference is there. No, it was on the listed for 2 years before it sold, and you're saying it's worth 80,000. It sold for 35,000. It's I want to lean back, man. So
No,
We're not about guest comfort anyway.
I'm not a guest, man. You're a lot.
I know you're not a guest.
I'm super guest.
Okay.
Guest, I am. Anyway, so
Yeah.
they're wildly overpricing stuff, overvaluing things. And even in the face of here's what it sold for.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is a good valuation. How? In what way is it a good valuation? And that is an unrealized
Yeah.
capital gain. So to me, that's that's actually someone's legislative priority. Well, they wanted it to be, which would be you bought your house for $50,000, and that's what your taxes are based on is $50,000.
it's fixed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you don't tell it. Well, the new person pays it at the higher rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Number 3, Proposition 3, denying bail for certain felony offenses. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's kind of the effort by a lot of states to get rid of cashless bail and any kind of.
yeah, because all these
Yeah.
DAs around the country are just selling us out.
Yeah, that's letting people out easier is a losing proposition.
So our district attorney was there last night, and what did he say about this?
Yeah, he was for it.
Yeah.
He was for this one.
Because it's, I mean, we see that so much the catch and release thing.
Yeah.
That's what happened to the young lady that was killed on the train in North Carolina, whatever.
Yeah, how many times-
14.
Yeah,
14.
okay, that's what I was about to ask. How many-
Yeah.
14.
And then this time when they arrested him, they turned him loose for 30 days so they could do a psych eval.
Yeah.
So they put him back on the streets again.
Yeah, it's wild. And how much of that? I guess in urban areas, specifically in the state, I guess it's a somewhat of an issue. Like,
Yeah.
how much of an issue is that, like in rural East Texas?
Yeah, I don't think it's an issue here, but
Yeah.
I mean nationwide it is, and statewide.
Yeah,
it
well,
is.
I mean, there's district attorneys in Texas that their elections were funded by Soros, and they're proud of the fact that they turned cartel criminals loose. There's a DA somewhere in South Texas that's tattooed up like looks like cartel, and he's the DA. And every time they catch a cartel member or an illegal immigrant doing something, he just turns them loose.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think he's still in office.
All right, this one, it's a maybe, and I think I'm against it. Dedicating sales tax revenue to the Texas Water Fund. I think I'm against it because of the Marvin Nichols tie-in.
Yeah, what's the update on the legislative update on Marvin Nichols? Is
It's just
I don't,
is it
still,
still
nothing
just
happened.
it's
As
sitting?
far
It's
as I
been
know.
sitting
Yeah,
there in the same spot for how many years
yeah,
now? Yeah,
50, over 50.
yeah.
But it still affects things going on because it's hard to get a home loan, home improvement loan, or build a house loan. Anything that's affected by that, and like around it, Harrisville,
So
River
it's
County,
got those communities stalled out
it does.
basically because
Yeah,
they can't grow because nobody will.
So as far as this one, does it reference Marvin Nichols at
It
all in
does
there?
not. It does
Not
not.
the amendment itself, but the explanation of the amendment. Is
No,
it
the
okay?
explanation of the amendment says maybe infrastructure like water is essential, especially in a growing state, but earmarking taxes without sunsets or accountability could lead to wasteful spending.
Yeah,
I mean, so
yeah.
yeah, if you had a sunset on it or something like that, maybe we could.
Even then though, sunset laws are almost like a token thing the government gives because
Right.
rarely do programs
How
sunset to
many?
begin with. You know,
How many
it's
taxes
more
have
like
ever
it's
come
just a
through?
legislative. Look, we're actually trying to make an effort to be efficient, but in reality, most of them get renewed anyway.
Right. So then, Proposition 5, establishing a Dementia Prevention and Research Institute or research with $3 billion worth of funding. This one has it as a maybe as well. It says health research is important, especially for aging populations, but creating another state institute smells like big government. I mean, I don't know.
I don't have a problem with something like that if the end is the purpose and if it's an actual program that is trying to do a thing. It's kind of like curing cancer, right?
Right.
There are people who are actually working to try to figure that out.
Yeah.
But a lot of times those are not people who are asking for money. And a lot of times, the money that goes into that research doesn't go toward the research.
Right. Yeah,
You know.
exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I'm mixed on that.
Isn't allocated funding often? We think it's allocated, but then it becomes fungible. Agency can use it for different things as long as they can tie
I
it
mean,
in vaguely.
Well,
That seems to happen a lot.
yeah, and a lot of times what they'll do is they'll create programs, state programs, where they can get block grant funds from the U.S. government. And then the block grant funds have a lot of flexibility in the spending.
right.
And if you can rationalize it in terms of, look, you're giving us the freedom to spend this on healthcare or whatever else. Well, that could be a billion things.
Right.
And a lot of times they'll create programs just to get grant money to be able to use it for whatever they want to use it for. That's a pretty common tactic.
Well, here's what I've always wanted to do, and I've just been too lazy to do it, I guess. I want to write a grant to study the effects of sun in the summer, the sun in the summer, when mixed with alcohol and lake water. And then,
You don't need a grant for that.
no, but if I could get a grant, and I just needed to afford a new mastercraft, a base of operations, like, I don't know, like a house by the lake or something to operate out
Well, it
of.
doesn't have to be a house, but something like a house.
Yeah, or a cabin.
Metal building, flat bottom boat, the rest spent on beer.
But I mean, if anybody listening, if you can write me this grant, you can help. You can be a participant in the research.
Well, there's people who that's what they do for a living is write grant proposals, and they get a cut of the money.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure somebody would help you with that. You can say you get a cut of the money and access.
And a beer on the lake.
Provided they don't say, I'm not sure that we'll get a grant for this.
Yeah,
You know, they're seeing how well snails can do on treadmills.
that's true. All right, we're gonna go on because we'll
I
never
think
get
those
to
people
these.
probabd vote for
Oh,
they'd probably vote for
everybody
Biden or
want to
even
know.
Bernie. So
Bernie.
probably some money laundering involved with those.
Absolutely. Okay, number 6, changes to the state commission on judicial conduct for better sanctions. This is for judicial accountability. This says yes, judicial accountability is key to preventing activist judges from overstepping. I'm good with that because we're seeing that across the country, activist judges now.
I went to the State Commission for Judicial Conduct's biennial. That's every 2 years for those of you in Rio Linda. Went to their hearing, and nobody got up and said, "Thank you guys, thank you for what you do, thank you for your oversight." People got up there and said, "This judge did this and wouldn't listen, and my son died in jail, and there's video evidence that he didn't commit the crime." And we hear that stuff over and over and over. They got chewed out. Somebody said, "You people sitting up here in this fancy room make a mockery of the beauty of this building, of the majesty of this building, because you're not doing anything." And right now, the State Commission for Judicial Conduct has a minority of the people on it that are civilians, in other words, not lawyers, not judges. And so this new law would expand that so that there is a majority of civilians on there.
All
But right
right.
now, it seems like a rubber stamp committee. And so anything that would enhance judicial accountability, it would be good. I've heard a very good friend of mine
This is
help,
Jennifer.
yeah, help push this stuff through. I've traveled to events with her a few times, and she gets phone calls. Just driving down the road, somebody calls her and says, "I hear you're doing this. Let me tell you my story."
Yeah.
And I said, "Do you ever get tired of these?" She goes, "No, this is why I'm doing it." Um, and I went to this thing, and you sign up, and you're one after another, and it was just one after another
Oh,
slam on the Commission for Judicial Conduct, on the judges.
not
Um,
that there aren't good judges, but the bad ones make it bad.
What's
they
pretty
do.
wild is that, if you look at like three branches of government, whether you're talking about the state level or the federal level, and you look at like polling over time as far as approval, judicial branch has always been way beyond as far as approval ratings of the executive or legislative. Where you're discussing the president, the governor,
Right.
you're talking about the state legislature or the federal legislature, and now you see like kind of the backtracking, and you're starting to see judicial approval ratings level out with the rest of them.
Yeah.
And to me,
And,
that's
and
indicative of like a failure of the system to at least gain trust.
that like
Yeah,
it's
that's
like a
absolutely
delay
right.
trust because one of them will get arrested. A judge will get arrested for drunk driving or driving under the influence of drugs, and we will find out later that they were reprimanded, and the reprimand will be Hunter, stop.
Yeah,
That's it. That's the
that
reprimand.
didn't happen
That's
at
the
all.
consequences that's the consequences that they face.
Yeah.
And I remember years ago selling cars in the Metroplex, and the sales manager came up to me. He said, "Come here," and he goes, "Walk by and look in the cup holder." And I walked by this car and looked in the cup holder, and I go, "Yeah." And he said because he had just driven the vehicle to assess it for trade in,
Mhm.
and the back tag said District Judge, and in the cup holder, he said that glass in the cup holder, he said it's forget what rum and coke or something like that. Because he was driving along and looked at it, he just had just kind of joking with himself. He picked it up and smelled it, and it was the guy's drinking and driving,
Mhm.
and he's a judge. And that same judge that was let off the hook for drinking and driving is going to be the one sentencing you
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Proposition 7. Exempting animal feed from ad valorem taxation. Gronk said we should vote yes on this if we're conservative. This is a pro agriculture and helps rural Texans, the core Republican constituency. Reducing property taxes on essentials for farmers combats government overtaxation and supports food security. I mean,
Pretty Texas.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm, you know,
Well, that's inventory. That's it's what it looks like to me. It's inventory,
yeah,
and they're saying, "Oh, you got to pay property tax on your inventory." Why? Why? I mean, that's always been.
right.
I mean, I get it. So you look across the road, and there's a. Wait, can I say where we are? There's a dealership for whatever across the road, and there is really,
Oh, okay. Yeah, that way.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
that way too. Um,
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. I can only,
I'm trying not to say where we are.
Field trip.
yeah.
Anyway, they have to pay property taxes on their inventory.
Right.
But anyway, why would you do that on for feed? Um,
Right.
Give the agriculture guys a break.
Oh, we're already killing the farming industry in this country
Oh, we are.
in every way. I
2 weeks ago, I was at an event in Tyler, Texas, for Nate Sheets, who's running for ag commissioner.
uh,
He's running against Sid Miller, and he was just laying out these statistics for us. It's not like it's bad, vote for me. He was just laying out the statistics. Then he's talked about his plan, which was I thought was seemed to me pretty sound. Several plans, but our farming industry has been under attack for years. In fact, that's one of the things with John Birch Society. One of our core principles, core things that we work on, is the war on farmers.
mhm.
And it's people go, man, we just keep accidentally burning the farmers, don't we? No, it's
It's not an
deliberate.
accident. Yeah.
It's deliberate.
And
Yeah,
part of it also is that there's so much foreign-owned agricultural land now. 'Cause, I mean,
yeah,
you got generational farms that are, when farmers are passing away and it falls in the laps of their children, and their children, say our generation, our
Yeah.
generation has no interest. I mean, by and large, has no
Yeah.
interest in picking that up. And what do? They sell it to the highest bidder, and a lot of times that highest bidder's
yeah.
from Latin America, or they're from Europe, or I mean,
China,
you're right. And depending on the state that
China.
hasn't banned it yet.
Yeah.
And that in itself, that's what I was explaining to my kids when we drive out west. going to Colorado or going to Wyoming and places like that, and you see these expansive fields. And when my daughter asked me, she said, "Why there's no houses around here?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "The people that own this land don't live around here.
Yeah, not
It's either
anymore.
Ted Turner or it's someone from China."
Bill Gates.
Yeah,
Well, and
yeah,
in defense, I mean, the other side of that is sometimes you can't see the house because it's so far away,
yeah.
but they do farm big tracts of land. But but you're right that there is, I forget what the statistic is of privately owned versus big ag.
It's wild.
Yeah, the farmer is going out of business, the family farm.
Well, and even on when they're farming some of those, we lease some land or used to up in Kansas that
Mhm.
we deer hunt off of and turkey hunt off of, and the lady that owned it, nice lady, but she was too old to farm anywhere. They'd have these. I mean, it was really cool. They'd have these guys come in to break this up and to farm it, and they'd come in with semis loaded down with tractors and equipment. They'd unload and they'd turn the GPS on those things, and then they go state to state during farming season,
Mhm.
leasing those fields, and then they're a national operation. And so but it's people like her that are still the private farm owning it that just lease it out because it's so much land you can't run it. Just
Yeah,
one elderly lady, like
yeah,
there's no way. I mean, because it'd be thousands of acres.
yeah.
All right, Proposition 8, exempting a portion of tangible personal property used for income production for ad valorem taxation from ad valorem taxation. Grok says if we are conservative, you should vote yes on this. Tax relief for productive assets encourages business and job creation. It's a classic conservative win, less government taking, more private sector flourishing. What do you have on your notes?
Mine aren't in the same order as yours. Isn't that weird?
Proposition 8 isn't Proposition 8?
Well, Proposition 8 is on here, but it's about death and estate taxes.
Oh, weird.
I know. So what was it again?
Exempting a portion of tangible personal property for income production from ad valorem.
Did Grok make that up?
Maybe.
Maybe this one. I have a different. I'm not using the same one.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll go
I
to
should have brought my flyer that I got in the mail.
yeah, that's right. We'll go to Proposition 9 then. Proposition
We'll go
9.
back to that one again. Maybe we'll think of something cool to say about it.
Yeah, I mean,
What was it?
We should also preface all of this by saying that there is an election coming up
yeah.
that people need to vote
I guess I took that for granted.
Yeah.
That's what this is about.
because proposition elections. I mean,
In case
elections
you're
are
wondering
usually,
about why we're talking about
Yeah.
this, you're supposed to vote on it.
they're
If you
usually
can't remember what we said,
sub
don't vote.
10%, sub 10%.
Are they really?
Yeah, I think 14% was one of the highest we've had in years for constitutional amendment elections, and the vast majority of the time because people don't know Americans tie elections to candidates. They don't tie elections to anything else.
To everything that matters.
Right. And so, I always impress upon people, if you don't vote in these, you have a tiny percentage of the population that decides policy for the entire state.
Yeah.
You go vote in this, your vote's heavy.
Yeah. It's never going to, I mean, it's rarely is it ever going to break. I have to look at the statistics as far as the highest in recent years. Rarely does it ever break 15%.
I mean, look, even does the presidential election, how far above 50% of the population does it even go? Not very.
General election and presidential years is always going to be the highest no matter what.
But still not.
But even midterm years, it's like 20 in the 20th percentile.
But even presidential elections, they don't hit 70% of the vote. I mean,
No,
I mean,
that's like unheard of.
right?
Yeah.
Because what Trump won with 77 million, and she had what 72 million or
You'd have
something.
to,
Like that?
and you have to calculate the VAP, like the voting age population, then actually like eligibility population.
Right.
And I don't know how many, he has the numbers, how many
I don't have those.
voting eligible people.
Yeah, it's not 350
I think it's like
million.
200 something
Yeah,
million, I think.
right.
That's what it is.
Oh, crazy. All right. Proposition 9, prohibiting estate inheritance or gift taxes. I mean, that's pretty cut and dry
That's
to
pretty
me.
standard
I mean,
Texas tax policy there.
yeah. Well, I mean, we don't need estate tax or inheritance tax because if you pay income tax right now in the country, your federal income tax, then your property tax, then you have to pay the registration for your car, then you pay the sales tax, and then you pay for your hunting license and your fishing license and everything else you do in the world. You're the top tax bracket. You're paying 60% of everything you own in taxes. And so then once you die and leave it to your kids for the state to get another half of it,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that wealthy people typically that doesn't happen to them very often because they've already set up the trusts and all that kind of thing.
yeah, but
But it does wind up burning the people that have worked hard and gone from perhaps lower class to middle class.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. If you can not consider yourself wealthy, this is going to be a stretch for some of. No, I don't think for anybody listening here, you cannot be considered wealthy and die and have $5 million in assets.
Yeah.
And by the time you do that, if you had $5 million and then the state takes 2.5 million of it, and then you're paying a lawyer to help you with the other, so now you're down to 2 million. Well, then look, I know $2 million is a lot of money. Can you retire on $2 million if you left? That doesn't take care. That's not
That's
generational
one of
wealth,
the things that we should, yeah, generational wealth is one of the things that we should be focused on.
right?
That you build something that you leave to your kids. It's better than
And then
you
they
have,
build on
and
it.
they build on it, and you keep doing that. And it might be that there's multiple kids, that are involved in the thing, like the
Right.
Waltons or whatever. But that's what we should be aiming for.
Yeah.
And it
Not
literally,
punishing.
yeah. And so the death tax 50% literally punishes that. However, do estate planning because
Yes.
all you have to do is have a document with certain language on it, and you're exempt. And
Yeah.
is,
However you want to set
is
that
that
trust up, or
Mm.
yeah, but I mean, my thing with that is, I mean, I know the attorneys think it's awesome, and I know that estate planning attorneys, I've when we did it from my family, I mean, it was minor and it was still a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Especially considering nursing home fees and things like that, Medicaid buyback or Medicaid chargebacks.
right.
I think that's the term for it. But the bigger the stuff the more your family owns, the more you should be looking into estate planning and putting it in a trust.
Right.
But again, it's we have all this, and the kids get it.
Right.
That makes sense, right?
Yep.
That was what was it that they did on Secondhand Lions? The kid gets everything. Just bury us next to in the stupid garden next to the lion.
It's a great
Okay, the kid
Yeah,
gets
it's a
everything.
good movie.
But that's a nice little line. But in reality, there's going to have to be probate now. Except for the kid, he knows where
And that
all
takes
the
a
gold
while.
was buried. So he didn't have to worry about that part. He gets the farm. Maybe he has to pay something, but then he just goes to the anyway. So if you have, that's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
So all it is here is our family wealth, and the kids get it. That just makes sense. That's how that works. But if you say, here's our family wealth, the kids get it, the state gets, we get 50%. But if you have a document, then the state doesn't get 50%.
Right. It's a weird deal.
It is. I mean, if you look at it in that perspective, it's pretty stupid. It's obviously the system is set up to take wealth from the people who don't think about that, who've never been told to plan for that.
Yeah.
The guy that
That'd be the average person.
yeah, the guy that hauls pulpwood and gets a second truck and a third truck and then buys some land and then has his stuff. And so he starts off dirt poor. And then by the time he's, ready to retire or the time he dies, he's worth a few $1 million.
Right.
And the state gets half of it because nobody told the guy that started off dirt poor and built up to say,
That's after they've
hey,
been charging you
go
property taxes
go
the whole
get this,
time.
go get this document. Go get this document, and your kids get to keep everything. But if you don't get the document, the state gets half of it.
This is things, Hunter. Revolutions are fought over.
Always money.
I mean, this is it, right? Taxation. It's like there's a line.
The French Revolution, one of them just for it was bread.
Right. Yeah. Did she really say let them eat cake, or is that
No,
a?
it's a bit.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's for Peabody and Sherman, I think. It's
Okay.
that's about as accurate as that gets.
It's fake but accurate.
Yeah.
I went to Versailles,
Oh yeah.
and
For college, right?
yeah, no, but they have the Petit Chateau there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's amazing to see what Marie, and we're talking about Marie Antoinette, everyone. It's amazing to see what Marie Antoinette considered living the normal life
Oh yeah.
for that time, because the Petit Chateau was her normal village, which was immaculate in every aspect, except for it was just smaller than the Palace of Versailles.
And her if you go in when I've been to the palace twice.
Yeah.
Her jewelry box
Yeah.
for the palace is the size of this room, just about.
Yeah,
It's multi-tiered and had to climb a little chair ladder to get up inside of it and everything.
I mean, it's amazing, and not to derail too much, but the gardens there are what?
It's your podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
it goes to the horizon.
Yeah,
I mean-
and they say they've lost 30% of the size as they were. It would take all day to
Yeah.
ride a horse across that thing.
Louis XIV was wild.
Yeah, no, it's a cool thing. But anyway, wars are fought over inheritance taxes and all that. Moving on. It is my podcast. It's true.
It is. I just typed into an AI, compare the Petit Chateau to the Palace of Versailles. It's still typing though, so
Yeah,
you
well,
want
we
to
can keep
you want to
talking
just
about it.
stare at me till it comes up?
Thinking.
Yeah,
Tell it thank you.
one of the things about the Petit you bet. Thank you. One of the things about the Petit Chateau is, and did they say this when you were there, that the animals are still of
You're
lineage of
Yeah,
her
that's right.
animals?
Yep.
beautiful.
When one of the times I went there was kind of unique because France had just gotten 1.5 feet of snow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really rare, and I went in February, and so when I went, the whole grounds were all covered in snow. So I went once in February, and I went another time in the summer. And I got to see it in both, but the snow was awesome.
Little fun Zach Ratliff show trivia. Hunter and I both got thrown out of our 9th grade French class on the same day one time.
When she retired, I told her, I said, "You're one of the greatest teachers I ever had."
Yeah,
She was saying
absolutely.
she was. Yeah, first day, her first day, her first day, and our first day. Just
Yeah.
tossed out in the hallway.
Dude.
I don't know. There's no telling
We
what
were
this.
speaking English as a French class.
Yeah.
It was a problem.
Also, we were known to turn on movies and then and turn on the French subtitles or whatever, and be like, "We're learning." She's like, "Turn off the TV."
So the Palace of Versailles is 721,000 square feet,
Yeah,
and
it's immaculate.
It's got a chapel.
the Petit Chateau is only 37,000 square feet.
Has it?
Yeah, I mean that's you have to hand it to them, be willing to live like peasants.
And that's what she thought she was
Yeah.
doing.
Do you know when she was executed? She stepped on the foot of her executioner and apologized to him
Yeah.
before he.
Well, she didn't mean to step on his foot.
She accidentally stepped on his foot, and she told him sorry.
I mean, I
I'm sorry for
just
what's
think,
about to happen to you.
Well, yeah, because she wants him to use the sharp edge and not the side of it.
Well, okay, it's her husband,
yeah,
Louis the 15th. I think it's 15th. He is a real real stocky guy, big
yeah,
neck.
big neck.
And so when the guillotine came down, it stuck halfway through, and a bunch of guys had
Had to
get on
jump on
each
it.
side of it and jump down on top of it to go the rest of the way.
Yeah, it's a
I hope he was unconscious at that point.
for anybody that ever gets
He's
the
like,
chance to go to Versailles.
shut harder.
Oh,
I
it's amazing.
yeah, go to Versailles. I mean, the Louvre was good too, but Versailles
I
just
took my wife to Paris once. We were in Belgium doing some World War II stuff, and we took a day trip to Paris. She wanted to go to the Louvre. It's a dream.
yeah.
Do you know it's closed on Tuesdays for cleaning?
The Louvre was on
After
Tuesday.
after an hour train ride and everything, get off the train, take a taxi, get to the Louvre, get to the palace. Louvre is just the old palace.
Yeah,
is what it
right.
is. And walk. And what's funny is they had a "We're closed" sign on the front door of that
And
facility.
so you're saying, I need to take a train to the Louvre. They're going, okay. And you get off and we go, where's the bus to the Louvre? They go, right over there. And then they say, how do you need a cab to the Louvre? We go, okay.
Twice.
I told you.
2 times that I've been to
The Armenian cab driver didn't care where I
I mean, 2 times that I've been to Paris, I stayed in a hotel basically across from where the Ferris wheel is in front of the Louvre.
Yeah.
So on that street right there, and there's a good cafe. There's actually a good little shop that sells the best pain au chocolat you've ever had.
Mhm.
I wish I'd taken a French class.
I just went with French class.
It stands for chocolate bread.
Yeah, there's chocolate.
I actually did take French
chocolate
class.
wrapped in croissant.
Pretty much. Like Starbucks.
Yeah. Anyway,
I get this at Starbucks. Say that to them when you go.
Yeah,
there.
they'll
They like
throw
that
it
kind of.
yeah,
They like comparisons to Americans.
They would not like. All right, moving on.
But hold on, the palace,
Yeah.
the whole grounds and everything covers 2,000 acres.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's big.
I mean,
The palace contains 2,300 rooms, 2,153 windows, 67 staircases, and 1,252 chimneys.
And a full-size Catholic cathedral
Yeah.
inside of it. With organ and everything.
It's amazing to see. And the Louvre is cool because you go down into the basement or the dungeon, and there's part of that, and that's kind of you go into the pyramid, then you go down. But Versailles was just so much more for me.
I love this right
I've
here.
been there a couple times.
The purpose of the Palace of Versailles was the grand palace for monarchy. The purpose of the Petit Chateau was it's a private royal retreat.
You know what Versailles was originally? Like when they kind of got added onto throughout
Right.
monarchies. It was a hunting lodge. It was a king's hunting lodge. It was
Yeah.
smaller.
Oh,
And over time, until Louis XIV, who was the Sun
Blew
King,
it up.
and now he's got, when you go to Versailles, all the gates are there. It's got his face with the sun around it because he's shown his light on his people.
Yeah.
All that
man,
nonsense.
that's
He made it
a
gigantic.
good thing to remember him for.
But once
Yeah.
again, all of that fell because of taxation. Just the same reason. I was actually standing under the Eiffel Tower one time on Bastille Day,
Oh yeah.
and it was amazing because it lights up and all the stuff, fireworks. It was cool.
The Muslims, I bet, were just having a.
It was before the Muslims actually took over.
Oh,
There were a few Romanian beggars there, gypsies, and it was crazy. We watched one walk up carrying her crutch, carrying some knee wrap. She walks up, tells her kid to sit down. They roll out, looks like some cardboard, and then she sits on it, wraps her knee up, throws the crutch over it, starts crying and holding up a cup for money. And I'm like,
Insane.
oh, this,
give you $20 for that.
Well, it's funny. I spent time in Eastern Europe. quite a
Yeah,
bit,
cool.
And so in Eastern Europe, uh, begging
I've been to
is different.
Mississippi a lot.
It's a lot different over there for them, and especially because in Czech Republic, Slovakia, and places like that, and Poland too. It's almost seems like it's a thing of shame, and so they don't beg for money. They get down on their knees and they go into a kind of prostrated position and they hold the cup in front of them and they don't make eye contact and they don't ask you, they don't talk to you, they basically bow and they hide their face.
Isn't that
It's
interesting?
a lot different than Western Europe.
Yeah, okay. I've never done any Eastern Europe stuff. I'd like to at some point.
You're less likely to see someone urinating in public in Eastern Europe.
Oh, well, I mean, if you've been to Paris, you've at least
Oh, yeah, they have no peeing signs
Eh.
all over the city in Paris.
Please don't pee.
Please don't.
because
pee.
it smells
Outside.
like if you go into the subway, it smells like urine.
Oh well, when I was there, I wanted to go to Notre Dame and go to daily mass. So walking up to Notre Dame, beautiful gardens around it. Turn the corner, and there is someone leaned up against the side of the wall of the cathedral having
Taking
a
a
bowel
leak.
movement. No, having a bowel movement.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's impressive. Hey, we're gonna move on to these Texas
That
constitutions.
hardly ever happens to Texas.
I bet we could find it. Dude, what do you do for $1? All right, position 10. Um, exempting appraised value of buildings used for job creation and workforce training.
So, like the Palace of Versailles.
Yeah, yeah. And so I don't know. It says yes, pro-business incentives like this drive economic growth. I am okay for not having any property taxes. So I don't.
I don't mind something like that, but it does worry me where the revenue will come from next.
Well,
Because this idea that it's going to shrink and then just go away, I don't
Our
know
government's not getting
I don't know any
smaller.
government that shrinks and withdraws within itself.
Yeah,
So
ever.
that concerns me.
yes, property taxes are evil. So just leave it there.
Yeah, good. Move on. Proposition 11. It's identical to Proposition 10. It says exempting appraised value of buildings used for job creation and workforce training. Same as above, but it's still a solid policy. Okay.
So,
Maybe I did make a mistake.
Maybe it did.
Don't tell it that.
so
You're okay.
were the colleges paying taxes before? Were the Votech schools paying property taxes before?
I don't know. I'd have to look
I
that
guess
up.
they were.
I'm uninformed
Don't
on.
look at me. That ain't part of my job.
Okay.
Let somebody.
I'm not saying your job.
So there's a shopping center in the Texarkana area that has a Votech school in it. Cosmetology and barber. So would that little section of the building be exempt from property taxes?
Well, also it's creating jobs with other businesses that are renting it out.
But if the business is not run by the property holder in that sense, if you own the property and your business is and your organization is in the building you own,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't that be different than if you're renting it from a landlord who
Ah,
rents it out
okay.
as a general space? And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's different. As far
Yeah,
as the way they draw that
some
up.
weeds to get into on
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Well, and that's the problem with some of these amendments. It's like
They create problems that we have to have new amendments for later.
Well,
absolutely.
that's why there's 531
Yeah.
amendments. that were amended
Yeah.
now,
It looks like we could simplify the Texas Constitution.
730 amendments proposed since the creation in 1845 or 1876, and we've gotten only a couple hundred have been rejected.
I mean, because we're all like, yeah,
That's pretty wild.
we're free down here in
Talking to some
Texas.
folks in Louisiana, they've had 2 constitutional conventions in the last 60 years where they get together and just rewrite it.
Mhm.
But if from what I understand from these people who are plugged in, the point is they just accumulate so many amendments. They just go in and rewrite the whole thing, including the amendments. And now there's only they start fresh with adding the new ones.
Yeah. It's
Um,
it's deadwood. They got tons of deadwood in their
yeah,
constitution.
because a great number of the Texas amendments are canceled out by a later amendment.
Right.
This amendment negates this amendment, or however they say it.
which shows the beauty of the U.S. system, right?
I mean, amendment elections truly are the most democratic part
Of
of
Texas,
our election system.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, we don't, what's, what the only state with a longer constitution than Texas is?
Yeah.
There's only one state that has a longer one,
What is it?
Alabama.
Alabama. I didn't
Cool.
see that coming. I'm
No
gonna be
clue
honest.
why.
Yeah, I didn't see
How
that.
complex is
I didn't see that coming at
my
all.
boss at the John Birch Society said everybody needs to read their state constitution. I'm like,
I think Texas is
okay.
90 something thousand words, I think.
Yeah, it's huge. And I go look, and he's from Georgia, and Georgia is like one of the original 13 colonies, and their constitution is you can read the whole thing in 20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. And ours, I read it for a long time, and I got halfway through it. I
Right.
didn't get to the amendments.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't follow up and say, "Hey, did you read it?" Which was good because
Great audio book.
Yeah, God, that's a sleeper.
Read by David Attenborough.
Yeah. All right, Proposition 12, allowing exemptions for residential properties partially used as businesses. I'm okay with that.
A lot of home FFLs would probably love that.
Yeah,
Right.
that's exactly
put a
right.
gun in every room.
Proposition 13, exempting a portion of appraised value for homesteads for appraised value for homesteads of those from 65 above, age 65 above. So just taking care of your people over 65 on property taxes being exempt from any increase in home valuation. Proposition 14, exemptions for surviving spouse of first responders killed in the line of duty. Um,
That's
I'm okay with that.
That's a good one.
And there was somebody last night that wasn't necessarily for that.
No, that was a different one. That was
Oh, it's this
well,
next.
no, I
It's
think it
it's
was.
this next one.
Okay.
Proposition 15, extending tax benefits for disabled veterans and their families. Because what they said was, oh, well, you could do that, but then what if I made up some straw man?
Well, I mean, it was you're exempt because of your service, and then you die, then your spouse continues exemption, and they remarry and move into a bigger house. Now that one's exempt.
It just seems like a narrow window to.
And we don't make policy anywhere that's based on the
Yeah.
exception.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the average? Well, the average
Right,
that
is
would
here.
help people on average.
Yeah.
Right.
And the exception is never the rule. It's not supposed to be anyway.
Okay. Then Proposition 16, limiting the school district ad valorem taxes on elderly homesteads. Once again, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
The flip side of that is the school district will say we need to borrow $100 million, and if you spread it out over the tax base, it's only going to increase your taxes $50 a year. But that tax base, if you take out all the people that are 65 and older, it's smaller. If you take out all the buildings that are used for educational purposes, increasing the workforce, now it's smaller. Take out the churches and anything else is exempt, it's smaller. So
The burden is higher.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we need to just completely eliminate the property tax.
Right. Well, and which then.
And that's realistic. I know a guy that constantly says, "There's no way to do it. I've done the math. It can't be done." And then you've got Chris Spencer, who's running for state rep.
Don Huffines.
Don Huffines wants to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Chris has talked about his plan. His plan is very similar to George Lavender's plan, who tried to do this 12, 14 years ago.
Right.
It was just before its time, I guess. But there is a very solid, concrete plan out there.
It's basically a usage tax.
Eliminating property taxes in Texas.
Yeah, it's a usage tax that would generate the same amount, if not more, income.
Was there talk of increasing the state sales tax?
It's basically where
Yeah.
what it
Yeah.
ties
That's
into. Yeah.
basically what
It shows how for the average citizen you actually come out ahead. And also instead of saying, "Hey, we're just going to raise your taxes because we want a Taj Mahal for the students," which is what happens. I see those like in the Metroplex
Or
here. We're gonna build this fancy building. Instead of saying, "Hey, we're going to do that and raise your taxes," you have a budget that you have to follow.
Well, let's do this last one. Then we're going to get into some what I deem as out of control school district stuff. and and the justification for it. So we'll kind of tie it back into that. Proposition
It's your
17,
show, Zach.
exempting value increases from border security improvements in border counties. So
Say that again.
exempting
yeah.
value increases from border security improvements in border
So
counties.
Oh,
yeah,
so they put a
back-
fence on the edge of your property and go, oh my gosh, now your property's worth twice as much. Look at that
I
big,
mean,
beautiful fence.
you can't say they wouldn't do it.
No, because anything that they can tax, they will.
Wait, was it saying? Maybe I misread it when I was reading on last week. I thought there was an exemption if you allow the state to use your property for public construction of those things. Is that not what it is?
No,
That's what I read on the flyer
I mean, that would make more sense.
that everyone else probably threw
But
away
I
in
mean,
the
the
city.
idea would be that,
Come in the mail, right?
Yeah,
we need to revalue your property because now you've got this really big, cool fence,
yeah.
or now you've got a moat with alligators. We need to charge you more.
Trying to get the back up. Okay.
Take your time.
Yeah. So, all right, back to 16. Talking about these.
We'll be alone with our thoughts.
Yeah, maybe you need to be. So talking about the school districts. So here's my burn on this. There's such a budget. Well, our preferred listener, I have a preferred listener, or no, premium listener, premium listener.
Hey, guy.
And yeah, and so he was on the show a week or two ago, and we kind of got into this a little bit. But I'm going to use a local school district here that has a $72 million a year budget. I won't say the name. and so,
Does it start with T?
oh, we're in Texas. So yeah, of course. Texas Independent. Oh wait, an independent school district up, and so they have a $72 million budget, and his beef was, why are we paying these administrators so much from the superintendent level? Now, my response to that was, I understand a well-paid superintendent when you're managing a $72 million budget.
Right.
If you're looking at it from that reason, you need someone equipped to do that, and that's probably going to cost you more money than someone that doesn't know how to run a $72 million budget. So I'm okay.
$250,000.
Yeah. And I know that I don't seem like I would be okay with that, but in my mind, you need someone that is equipped to handle that budget. So that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the budget. And then you do your what were we just talking about? Where you get money, the
property tax?
No, the bond.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you have a $72 million budget, and then you have a $100 million bond. Like, okay, why are we doing this? And then your school grades come out, and that's not good.
Well, the important thing is that we have buildings that make the students feel good about themselves, and we have administrators who feel good about what they're doing. Honestly, if they could get the kids out of that system, it would be could streamline it a lot better, because the kids are actually a friction point. The students are actually a friction point. So if you could find a way to get the students out, but still have the administration, I think it would be a lot more efficient. Those people would get the kind of salaries they deserve.
Yeah.
It just makes sense to me.
So here's where I am.
Somebody explain to your listeners why that was snarky.
Yeah. Nope. Maybe they got it or they don't.
I'm happy. I'm comfortable.
So what I think is, I'm all for supporting good teachers.
Oh yeah.
I believe quality teachers should make as much money as we want to pay them, and more than we want to pay.
Sure.
Quality teachers, and I believe that every teacher ought to have support, and I believe that your school boards should be focused on what the teachers are teaching to the students. I believe we have too much red tape and administration statewide in our school districts.
Yeah, this is easily a statewide issue.
Yeah,
we can say where we are and talk about local school districts, but it's an endemic.
Yeah, there's a bureaucracy inside the school district system across the state of Texas where, if we empowered our teachers to teach, and you didn't have to chase, there's this program where they do these online deals, and it teaches you it kind of keeps updated on where you are and all this, but you don't get a grade for it. I think it's called IXL or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
And
Because
and and so, but if you're not getting a grade for it, why is it required to be done? Other than it marks your progress on where you're going, which we used to keep up with our progress through tests and quizzes and I'm not a teacher, and that's why I'm pointing at you because you are, so I don't
I'm
understand
not in
the
public school anymore.
not in public school, but you've been in that
Yeah,
situation, so I
that was after me though.
I wasn't
Yeah, yeah, I
okay.
didn't do it.
So I don't fully understand that. Whereas if we just cut the red tape, cut the administration down, even someone last night said, "Hey, what if we cut some of this administration and gave every teacher their own teaching assistant?" Just to manage these classrooms better. And I know here locally in a couple of school districts, the main issue is discipline. We don't have in that bureaucracy, we don't have anyone that's focused on discipline so much that the kids are just running wild.
And a lot of that is not districts creating those policies because they like those policies. A lot of that is the fact that the state
State,
handcuffs them to the
yeah,
point where
absolutely.
they aren't able to create an environment that's conducive to learning because there's always someone who is sue happy, I guess you could
Right.
say,
Mm.
in regards to discipline and things like that. And districts don't want that kind of PR. Stay
No,
above it as much
absolutely
as they
not.
possibly can.
So we need to, we need to do something at the state, even if that's, I'm never for the Department of Education. I'm always for localized school boards, run what they have, and understand especially on the lawsuit side of it, you open yourself up to some of that. Maybe there needs to be some tort legislation around. I mean, but there's got to be something so that these teachers can get control of these classrooms because like if you have discipline in anything in life, whatever you're doing works better, whether it's going to the gym,
Yeah.
whether it's good how you manage your day at work. If you're disciplined about what you're doing, it creates so much freedom inside of that it works.
And a lot of this really has nothing to do with the teacher, I
No,
mean,
no,
because what schools are trying to do is they're trying to figure out a way to replace something that can't be replaced, and that's a structured home with a family
Mhm.
that is conducive to the growth and learning of a child. And it really doesn't matter. And truth be told, a lot of times it is a zero win scenario because
oh
it
for
doesn't matter
sure,
how much money you put into it. It doesn't matter how skilled a professional is. It doesn't matter how amazing the apparatus of the district is or the school that they're in is. In the end, you can't really replace the other 18 to 20 hours a day to whatever that child is exposed to.
that's absolutely
And
right
and it just goes to show you, you cannot create artificial things that truly replace the benefits
of a
of a
family.
good home and a good, at least support at home, whatever that looks like, some type of support. And districts, they spend billions of dollars every year in the country trying to figure out a way to play parent to the children. Now,
How
I'm not
much
saying
of
it's
that is
bad.
wasted? So if a district is spending $100 million a year
Yep.
and they're trying to overcome that, could they spend $60 million a year
It's
and do
public spending, so a
almost
lot of
as
it gets
well?
wasted.
Yeah,
I mean, could they spend 60 million
Yeah,
and do almost as well?
and I think that also begs the point that you're not talking about for-profit organizations. They're spending money that doesn't belong to them.
right.
And if you are in game minded, then you're less likely to be as wasteful. But if you know that there is a steady revenue stream coming every
Never
year
ends.
that right,
You probably still know people in the education field, in public
a
education.
few.
So
They're
how do they feel
gonna love
when
this.
the the school district hires another admin person and they're still buying their own supplies for the class?
Teachers
What does
want
that
to,
do?
well, like any other corporate structure,
Yeah,
everyone at the bottom doesn't like everybody at the top. And
no matter what.
but I will say from my experience, there are people out there, and this is not me doing a both sides issue. There are people
No.
out there that are administrators that truly give a crap. They
Oh, for
really do,
sure. I've met some great
and
administrators.
they support people. They're kind to kids. My own children, they both go to schools that have people that are supportive and good at their job, whether it's administrative or the teaching level. However, I can understand the argument of a teacher that's sitting in a classroom that is absolutely ready to quit, right
Yeah.
on the edge of insanity, and you look over and you see a really top heavy organization. It's it's got to be frustrating. There's no
Well,
way it's not.
the teacher's about to quit, and the people in the huge admin palace are going, it doesn't seem like that bad a job to me. I like what I do.
And
And they're completely disconnected.
and a lot of times it depends on if you're an admin, like where are you an admin at? Because, not all things are equal, right?
Right.
Sometimes being a principal or an admin or even a teacher at one school,
It's completely
it's not even the
different.
same job.
Right.
When, for instance, later on in my career, when I first started teaching, I was teaching middle school,
Yeah.
just on level 7th grade, and that's a whole lot different job than what I ended with 15 years later.
Right.
And to pretend, and that's kind of one of the reasons why me in particular, I get the rationale for. I don't know if you guys know about the whole, I forgot what they called it, but it was teacher incentive allotments where they were going to give money to teachers whose kids showed growth or
Oh,
excelled,
okay. All right.
extra pay basically. The state was allotting money and districts were taking advantage of it. I don't know that all of them around here took it, but a lot of them did. Um, that's fine. Like if you're a great salesman, a good commission is well earned.
Right.
But the difference is that you've got teachers out there that are busting their tail and they're fighting a losing battle every single day, but they are absolutely doing the best job you can possibly imagine with what they're being dealt. And on the other side, you've got teachers who are having all this wonderful growth and all these things are happening. And it's like, yeah, you're the fifth smartest person in the room. Of course, you're going to have great results. It's like when I
Well,
taught AP or AP to people that were going to Yale and Harvard and all
right.
these Ivy League scholarships and all this different stuff. Say what you want about the merits of those organizations. It's hard to get.
You,
You
you
know what I
don't
mean?
you don't just get in.
You're sitting. If I'm sitting in a room and I'm the third smartest person in the room as the instructor, how is my job the same? And how should I be measured the same as someone who's teaching inner city kids math, reading and writing at third grade?
I've never looked at it like that. Well, like my daughter, when she went to school, of course, she goes to the #2 elementary school in the state of Texas, right? And the STEM and all the things, and is a math whiz. And also, she was counting about the time she could walk. She learned to read, and then you pair that with somebody that comes into kindergarten or first grade, and their parents have never opened a book for them.
Yeah.
That,
And studies have shown that one of the biggest indicators for a student's success, even years later in school, was that their parents read to them as a child.
right. I can remember.
And a school can read a book to them, but it's not the same
It's
as
not the same.
it's not the same.
No, I can remember when my ex-wife was pregnant. And I would read books to the baby, who her belly, everybody, because they can hear you. And then that continues. I still read to my daughter, and she just turned 10. And then now she reads to me. This is but it's a cultural deal, and we don't have to go into all that. But it's definitely a cultural deal. Is how much time. But that ties back to the 1963, January 10th, 1963. When the communist tenets were read into the to the U.S. Congress, just to be recorded. One of them is tear down the family, tear down public education and that's where we are. That's what we've allowed to creep in over time. And it's not a teacher thing. It's a government thing that is we and this is just me here, but we've gone away from God so much that we've made government our idol, and then through that we've lost the family because government will take care of you. And now you have kids starting kindergarten, first grade, that never had a book read to them. And then you want that teacher, to your point, that teacher to be graded as much as the kids in fourth grade that are already as intelligent or more than they are. It's a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with all that, but we got there. Anyway, it's just on the whole school district thing. You see these grades come out. The schools that got graded out that were high, you expected them to be high. The ones that weren't, you expected them to be low, and it kind of fits. And you hate that that's the rationale where it is, but that's where we are. I don't know the fix. I'm not saying I have
Well, I
the
do know
answer.
that if school districts don't want anybody scrutinizing their spending,
It's a
they
problem.
have to. If they don't want anybody scrutinizing their spending, then the money spent has to equal the results at the end of the year.
Yeah.
If you're an A-rated or a good high-rated B-rated district, people are probably not going to look at too hard at what you're doing with that money because they say, okay, look, money spent, they're doing a good job. Obviously, they know what they're doing. But if you have a massive budget, and if you're spending a whole lot of money and then you're not producing results, well, vultures are going to swarm. I mean, that's just the way it is because people want to know, what am I getting for the money that is being put into this that belongs to me?
Right. Absolutely. All right. We can get off school districts. We'll hit a couple news articles and we'll get out of here if y'all are good with that. This was from yesterday, and I actually got it when we were doing the Patriot. You should come to the Patriots meeting with us sometime. I mean, it might not be exactly your cup of tea,
It's
but
really good. Why were you looking at me when he said that?
Aren't you?
he runs it.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
that's why he was looking at
yeah.
you.
I'm nice.
No, I
Last
know. No, I meant like how do I say this?
Oh, you're trying to say why you don't want to go except I'm in the room?
No,
I could go to
not
the
because of
bathroom.
you.
because we're on the camera.
How do I say it? It would hurt my impartiality.
Yeah, it
If
would
it's
hurt your impartiality.
Your perceived impartiality.
There you go. Don't make it easy on him.
We're
perception is not
nonpartisan.
against the law.
Yeah, we aren't a partisan group. There's no party affiliation with the Patriots.
Oh, there you go.
So, okay, breaking. This is from Benny Johnson last night. Breaking former FBI director James Comey was indicted. That's a big deal because what I've said is I didn't believe that even though the Biden administration went after Trump and they did indict him and they did go for him, I didn't believe that the Republicans or the Trump administration would have the courage to actually go after people who broke laws of any high stature. But it's not just going to be James Comey. They're also indicting. Golly, I think I've got that too.
I've got,
Go ahead.
and it seems like Tulsi Gabbard is the one that's doing
She's
most of this
pushing
stuff.
this.
Yeah.
Can I hold this up next to the microphone and play it? Is
Yeah.
it going to work?
We'll just watch this line.
Okay. Hold on one more time.
Steve's got a new
No,
phone.
don't
He
listen.
doesn't know
Don't
how to
listen.
work it.
Okay.
Look at where we are now. Over the last several weeks, we've declassified and released documents that exposed how President Obama and leaders in the intelligence community knowingly manufactured a false intelligence document after the 2016 election was done, after the American people said, no, we want Donald Trump to go and be our commander in chief, not Hillary Clinton. And this manufactured document alleged that Russia aspired to help President Trump win the election with the aim of undermining his presidency and usurping the will and the voices of the American people who sent Trump to the White House.
Okay. So that's somebody faking. So that was a conspiracy.
Yeah,
And a
absolutely.
conspiracy to undermine the effectiveness of President of the United States.
And then James Comey testified that there was no under oath to Congress that the document wasn't fake, that it was legit, that there was no conspiracy. So now that's what he's being indicted for. He's not being indicted for yeah,
Perjury.
perjury.
Lying to
One
Congress.
sentence.
A bigger deal.
Yeah.
One sentence is what
Yeah.
got him.
So, but this conspiracy, was that sedition? Was that a seditious conspiracy? You teach this stuff.
When's the last time that we had a seditious charge?
Never.
Civil War?
Well, hold on. What's his name?
Never mind.
The CIA, Robert Hansen. You know, Robert
Yeah.
Hansen was, yeah. But, was he charged with?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Didn't they put him in
So what-
Supermax and he died?
What's the definition of sedition?
Well, it's crimes against the nation.
Crimes against the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to overthrow. So is undermine the same as overthrow?
So let's play into some of the conspiracy theorists, but this is also a source that I use. Some clandestine on X.com. I don't know if you'll follow him. He then goes, "Here we go. Trump signs an order directing the Attorney General to fully enforce capital punishment in D.C. across the country for all applicable cases. Same day that you're going to get indicted, and there's a chance of treason and sedition charges.
I don't. We haven't.
I don't think it
we haven't put
happens.
anybody to death for that. And
Ever
well, no, we have.
since Hamilton shot Barr.
1800s. But I think that's probably
That's a
that's
stretch.
a coincidence.
Yeah, I think so. But it's fun to play with. And I'm not calling for the death penalty. Let's don't get that mixed up. But
Well, at this point, like this conversation started with, is somebody ever going to actually get arrested? So indicted is not arrested.
yeah, it's true.
It's just saying we
The grand
accuse.
jury finds.
Yeah, we accuse.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're still not there. I mean, we can indict.
Well, Trump was
1,000
indicted how many
people.
times?
Several, 20 something. I don't know. of 20 charges. So if we
32, I think.
was that what it was?
It's 32.
Yeah. So we can indict 1,000 people, but if nothing comes of it, we just reinforce the fact that if you're in the right party, if you serve the right people, you can get away with anything.
Right. But I'm glad to see some progress just in general.
Yeah, Pam Bondi doesn't seem to be doing much.
Well, they
Jeff Brown
fired.
doesn't seem to be doing much, but Tulsi Gabbard does.
Well, so this was at a grand jury, so obviously the DOJ had been working on it. The grand jury doesn't just decide in a day, but they did fire one of the DOJ employees. I can't remember their name, and as soon as that person got replaced, that's when the indictments started hitting. That's when we got some traction there. So I think it came from there's still moles inside the Trump administration because it's a large
Maybe
department.
that's the way this
Well,
works. is
executive
that-
branch is 3 million employees.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Pam Bondi. Well, she's the attorney general, but if this guy over here doesn't want to release indict or release a file or
Right.
whatever, that's his choice, and that just stymies the entire organization. It seems to me like she could go, no, I'm overriding that. We're doing this,
Right.
and so it does seem like her side of the story, her little silo that she's in, doesn't seem to be doing much. So this is great that this is happening.
Right.
But
Yeah.
again,
The likelihood of an actual sentencing.
or even an arrest.
Yeah.
Name the last person who was a high-ranking government official that was well known that was actually punished.
Lincoln, Kennedy.
I mean, no, I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm
Nixon,
saying, like,
Nixon was forced out.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Punished.
yeah,
And what Nixon
Yeah.
did compared to the Biden administration is
it's-
nothing.
Right?
And it's turned out to be a CIA setup. I mean, we can get into that
And-
in another hour.
I mean, you've had congressmen who was the one that held a gold bar?
Oh, he's out now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but
Menendez.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Menendez. Yeah,
Menendez.
and Biden was going, "Why would you take gold bars when you just need to set up 50 shell companies?" And
Yeah. Well,
And then you also have
You deserved
I
it.
know whenever who was the lobbyist, the one that ran it all.
I don't know. I don't
What's his
remember.
name? The guy that was like the big
I'm lost.
I am too.
he owned all the lobbying firms in DC.
Oh no, I
He
don't know
ran the
that
big
name.
rig racket. Never mind.
Does
I'll
seem like a
think of
good
it.
racket.
Yeah.
I-
But anyway, he was bribing, and congressmen were receiving gifts from him.
Oh, okay.
What?
Well, like
That happens?
trips to St. Andrews Golf Course.
Yeah.
And all these different things. And
Trump went there. Trump went to St. Andrews.
Yeah.
Is it
other people
connected?
did.
Right. So here's what
Drink water.
yeah, from the conservative
Yeah.
conservative club
That's actually
over
my
on
side.
how is it? From the conservative club over on MSNBC, they had Senator Richard Blumenthal sending a warning to Republicans.
Jack Abramoff.
Jack Abramoff. Yeah, that's
my
exactly
name.
right.
Yeah.
Yep. So Richard Blumenthal warned Republicans that, hey, if you're going to come after our guys, we're going to do the same to you. Like, whoa,
Like you hadn't been doing it for 30,
Yeah.
50
what
years.
kind of statement is that? Like, anyway, it's just a wild thing.
Always accuse the other side of what you've been doing.
That's exactly right. Anyway, that was the only story I really wanted to hit was we're at least seeing some indictments from some of this stuff. I still don't believe anyone will be punished of high ranking. I think
Highly unlikely.
there'll be some patsies, there'll be some fall guys.
You'll see a lot of people losing jobs.
Yeah, or resigning.
Mild things.
Yeah.
And then step into another job doing the same thing.
Well, all right, fellas. Thank you all for being here today.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. And
Yeah,
Thank you.
all right, everybody, we're going to get out of here. I hope God blesses each and every one of you today.